Hello, my name's Daniel Kerr, and I'm the writer-director of Your Move, and I'm joined by Max McGregor.
Hello, and I was sort of camera operator, director of photography on Your Move.
Yeah, we're just going to talk you through some of the camera tests and some of the test footage that we did, and some of the stuff that we were happy with by the end of it.
How the film sort of developed visually, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is kind of night and day, I would say. Starting off with something like this shot specifically.
So this was filmed, this is before I was involved in the project, and this was filmed when you sort of scouted the location?
Yes, that's right. I reached out to a local church in it may have even been 2021, but this was filmed in 2022. It's definitely been a long time coming and trying to get everything sort of organised and things like that. Mm-hmm. It is the same camera that we use. It's just that I didn't have a director of photography to just actually know how to use it as well. So we kind of stuck to the same idea, but just lots of little things enhanced.
Planning and stuff, yeah. But even after doing this footage, did you feel that this was the right spot for the film?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think just looking at the place, there's a sort of symmetry that I really like.
Kind of grunginess, a sort of unpleasantness to it a wee bit. It was just
like the three windows and the two lights, and getting three tables and the flowers in the windows and the chair. Everything just looked kind of old,
quite lifeless. Yeah, a bit sort of beige and brown.
Definitely. You can just see different sort of photos that we got, different sort of ideas that we were tampering with, and
because it was quite a kind of open hall and quite bland, so it was a bit of a challenge to make each shot still quite interesting to look at. Yeah, so it could very easily be just like a lot of wall all the time.
No, absolutely.
So that was one of the things that I sort of tried to avoid a bit, but
there was definitely like kind of updates, like this scene, for example. I feel that this is meant to be a scene between my character and my character's sister in a sort of flashback.
And it's still in the film, but we did it again. We just refilmed it, didn't we?
Like it just looks blander to what we've settled with. It's a lovely house. It's a really nice sort of location that we tried. But this was like the first thing that I'd actually said, right, this is definitely going to be in the film. And just for multiple reasons, it just didn't work. The lighting was a bit too neutral.
It's a bit kind of modern, but kind of clean, and sort of it didn't suit these kind of really particular characters as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's still interesting to see sort of how we changed that.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have a sort of evolution of how you get from A to B.
Yeah, absolutely. And you filmed this yourself pretty much, or just the two of you?
Yeah. There was, again, the one thing I keep saying this, you need a director of photography. You need someone who is very proficient with a camera.
Made in front of the camera and film it as well, I suppose. It comes with its challenges.
You're trying to remember your performance, you're trying to sort of remember your lines and
press record as well.
And also get good lighting ratio at the same time. It's not.
There's a reason there's teams behind this stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Help is not a dirty word, folks. Okay.
So you're sort of setting up an eye line here. These are quite funny shots.
I'm certainly attempting to. I if we could sort of extract the camera and just see what the external shot is, you would see just a cannon just so close to my face. Yeah. It just didn't work for a number of reasons, but I think I'm very happy with what we eventually sort of settled with.
Yeah, so we revisited it after filming the rest of the film. This was it ended up becoming the last thing we did, didn't it? In this location here. Exactly.
It kind of bookended the whole sort of process. It was the very last thing in terms of shooting that we did, and the lighting is just harsher and more sort of dangerous and more contrasty, which I really like.
Yeah, contrasty really works. Like all the sort of reflections and sort of interesting details in the background. It looked really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and camera rolling.
And action. Gonna fucking stop!
I didn't do anything there!
There's Napoleon. Big
chilling. So this shot, I remember we were trying to get like a cloud to conveniently pass the window, like to sort of add drama to the shot, or like a change of tone.
Yeah,
which kind of worked, sort of.
He's peppered throughout the film, and you'll see him in different sort of locations. We won't sort of hit you over the head with what we're trying to do with that, but I think he's just at the very least, he's a very sort of interesting set piece that just sort of appears at different parts.
Oh, surreal, yeah. That's also a bit surreal.
Jump scare.
Yeah.
Just some behind the scenes sort of pictures that we took, and just in contrast to back to 2022 when I sort of came by myself and just messed about with a camera for a couple hours.
At this stage, was everything like prepped to go, that the script was all done and all this kind of stuff, and the shot list and things, or were we not?
Yeah, the script, I wrote the script in 2020.
Yeah, okay.
And everything was supposed to be ready to go. We sort of planned to film it in 2022, but I just, looking back on it, if I'd have done it then, it just would not have been good. I mean, look, the camera test here, this is when myself, Max, and the assistant director Ellie came back and did our own sort of camera test just before shooting and things like that.
Yeah.
It looks night and day. Trying to do it all yourself can be fun and you have more autonomy, but getting other really professional and talented people to help you is definitely the way to go.
So when we were filming, we kind of developed a sort of workflow, because we were filming, like, was it 3 days, like kind of back to back?
I think it was 4.
4 days, that's right. And the first day we were sort of just trying to get a way to do it quite efficiently and quite quickly. And we came up with the idea of having, like, well, we're lucky enough to have 3 cameras, so we sort of, instead of switching it around all the time between the gimbal and the tripod and wherever it had to be, we just like set one up permanently on the tripod, one on the gimbal, one handheld, so we just pick them up when needed.
And that
saved loads of time, actually. It's quite a good way of doing it.
It was like a rotary system. It really
sort of like lined up at the side, ready to go. You just choose your instrument.
It worked because we only had like 5 hours to shoot each day, and the scenes were very sort of long and sort of dialogue heavy, so having sort of one camera definitely ready for more sort of shaky shots. And
another thing we figured out, which I'd never done before, which worked really well, was for your kind of snappy dialogue, we realised the 2 characters were overlapping with their lines.
That's right.
So we got 2 like boom mics and just like I had it dual recording. Usually it's kind of in my head, we just use one. Yeah. But no, we just use 2. And then any kind of overlaps were fine because we had a priority on each person.
Yeah.
So things like that we sort of figured out as we were going along, but we did have a plan and we did stick pretty close to it, I think.
We did. There was, there's some things that you have to sort of change, and there was a lot of worry about the weather on the outside and how late or early the sun set.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But that was really difficult to try and navigate. But I think what we've got it flows quite nicely from like kind of mid to late afternoon.
Yeah, it ended up working, but I remember rejigging it quite last minute, like so the windows were the right light intensity at various points in the film, because the sun was setting like halfway through our shoot each day, pretty much. So to make it look natural and the story was quite hard.
Yeah.
Another thing we used to film, obviously, in this shot you maybe guess is a drone. And I remember just having it hovering up here for about 20 minutes while we figured out what was going on down below.
Yeah.
But that added another element to the film, another kind of dimension. And sort of flying it in this, in terms of airspace, quite small hall was quite fun as well.
Yeah, there's a part in the opening sort of scene where it basically sort of flies down, heavily sort of inspired by The Shining and the sort of ghostly presence of the camera sort of moving to points of focus.
Yeah, it's quite ghostly actually.
Yeah.
That was quite a hard one too. Oh.
There's the ghost of Ellie walking in on us while we're still filming. I feel that The Shining specifically has played a huge part.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that, isn't there? There's quite a lot of like the sort of surreal things going on, and
you'll see it when the film sort of is completed and like comes out. But there are some kind of Shining-esque bits and bobs in there for you.
Yeah, I didn't even make the link for this first shot, but it totally is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, flying it in this hall for me was a challenge because I've not done loads of drone flying, so to keep it all smooth, and at the minute I'd sort of screw up a tiny bit, the whole shot was kind of ruined. So.
It can, you can be doing so well, and then like just one
slightly
trip of the joystick,
game's over. So we were trying to film. This was called the swagger shot for quite a while, and it's sort of introducing Joe as a character. So this was like various ways we tried to do it. I think this, you probably agree, is the nicest, the shot that worked best.
Yeah.
Although we do use multiple, but it was just to establish his kind of presence in the room.
Him sort of picking out his prey, and just getting up and just going for it. Character introductions are really important for sort of character-driven sort of stories, and I think we nail Joe's and Mason's quite well. Yeah.
And kind of smooth glide across the room works.
In this video anyway, we've showed you the character introductions that we were going for, and I hope it kind of sets you up for when the film comes out and just tells you a little bit more about the process that we've had and what it is we're trying to
and what's gone into it and stuff.
Yeah.
See how well that comes across in the final thing.
Definitely.
But that was some of the kind of thought process behind it.
Yeah. But thank you so much for talking with me today, Max.
No worries at all.
And
Let's see what happens. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get this film together.
Absolutely. And cut.
Nice.